Well, here's a hot take for you. You should stop trading options. I'm serious. You should quit trading options. If we're being honest, are you even net profitable as an options trader anyway? Now, I know that's a pretty loaded question and it might feel like I'm personally attacking you, but that's not my goal. Options trading is extraordinarily difficult, and by the time you really dive into the math of options trading, you're going to realize that the deck is stacked against you. But fear not, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what you should be trading instead, where your probabilities of success are way higher. Now, before you freak out and grab your pitchforks and your torches and you scream at me that I'm gonna have to grab your premium from your cold dead hands, let me add a little bit of framework to this video. First off, I'm not talking about selling premium. I'm not talking about selling calls. I'm not talking about selling puts. In fact, I'm a big fan of selling premium. There are many well-known options trading strategies that utilize premium selling, and they could offer both weekly and monthly income. Like I said, I'm a big fan of selling premium. And second, I don't want to be a party pooper. I fully understand that we all wake up some mornings with that degenerate itch, where we have that gut feeling just how that day, just maybe, a 0 DTE deep out of the money option might be that grand slam that pays thousands of percent. Hey, I'm not gonna knock it. It's hardcore gambling. I've been there before. I think there's a time and a place for it. I think you all have to do it in control. But once again, I get it. I'm not here to stop the fun, but it should also be stated that that's not trading. That's just low odds gambling. In reality, when it comes to the world of options trading, I don't think there's that many honest content creators. Everyone makes it seem so simple. We see it all over the interwebs of all the amazing gains people are making, but then yet when you try it and you're doing it consistently, and please stop me if I'm wrong, it seems way more difficult than the entire internet is making it seem. If this sounds a bit familiar, if you're not exactly where you want to be in your own options trading career, I want to talk about something that I think is going to be even better for you. And hey, I think there's a time and place for options trading, but as you're trying to figure out what your system is, what your really market framework is, in the meantime, I think you might want to focus on trading futures instead. Oddly enough, I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually started my trading career off in the world of futures. It's a little bit of a strange story, but back in college, I was obsessed with this idea of making a systematic trading system. The only issue is to have a successful trading system, you need a lot of data. The data is really what you're going to refine and crunch and what you're actually going to be trading off of. That's how you come up with your idea. The issue was at that point, I was a broke college kid and I could not afford equity or option data, and the only thing I could find were futures data. In fact, I got it for free, so I used that, not even knowing what futures were. I mean, literally, I had no idea what trading futures or futures contract was at all, but I decided to jump in head first because it was the only data I could afford. Since then, I've traded everything. I've traded futures, stocks, options, crypto, forex, and everything in between, so I think I have a pretty good perspective on the matter. And hey, if you're watching this and you're trading a different asset that happens to not be futures and you're consistently profitable, don't let me stop you. In fact, let me offer you a massive congrats. But as I said before, if you're trading something and you're not so happy with where you're at in your trading journey, your trading career, maybe this is the time for you to consider futures. Reason number one, there is no pattern day trading. If you're in the United States or on a US registered brokerage and you've been trading and your account is less than $25,000, there's a good chance that you've run into a PDT issue, pattern day trading. This is a really silly rule in the US where if your account is below $25,000 and you have a margin account, which that's a whole different story, but I would argue you should be using a margin account over a cash account. If you do more than 3 trades, opening and closing, if you do that more than 3 times in any rolling 5-day period, well, congratulations, you broke the pattern day trading rule. If you've traded for any amount of time with an account that was subject to PDT, you probably hate it as much as I do. The amount of times I couldn't get out of a position even though my risk was hit, or the times I completely missed a trade because I knew I didn't have an extra trade that would allow me to get into it. Like I said, I've had multiple rants on this. I think this rule is stupid. I think it's silly. I think it's illogical. I think that the government and regulators should look into it. But as of the point that I'm filming this video, it's still a thing that we have to consider when trading stocks and options. That's the key here. It does not impact futures. If you want to trade a gazillion times in one day, hey, have at it. You're allowed to do that in the world of futures and it will not negatively impact you. Reason number 2 is theta decay. or really, I guess I should say, the fact that futures has no theta decay. If you've ever traded an options contract, there's a good chance that even though it's trended in your favor, you might be thinking, why is it not up that much? Why is it flat? Why is it down even though the underlying went in the direction that you thought it was going to go in? Most likely it has to do with theta decay, the passage of time. It is the Greek that really hurts you if you're long premium and really helps you if you're short premium. One of the many reasons that options trading is extraordinarily difficult is because it's a non-linear product, as in you have to take into consideration time. Let's say that there's a theoretical stock XYZ trading at $100 and you have a call position on it. That trading at $100, what it means to the call position is very different on Monday versus Tuesday versus Wednesday versus Thursday versus Friday. You get my point, because as more time passes, you're going to experience what's referred to as theta decay. The options contract is going to be losing extrinsic value, and that's one of the many things that makes option trading very, very difficult. But on the flip side, futures contracts have no theta decay. They are a linear product. If it goes up and you're long, you made money. If it goes down and you were short, you made money. The passage of time does not have an impact. It is a linear product. There is no theta decay. Reason number 3 of why you might want to consider trading futures is the tax advantages. Now, I need to be careful here. I am by no means a registered CPA. I am not a tax expert or anything like that, but it might be worth your time to give it a little bit of an internet search or talk to your own tax person about the tax benefits of trading futures. I'm very much begging you to do your due diligence on this, but in my personal experience, if I made the exact same amount of money trading in futures versus the exact same in options, at the end of the year, I'd be better off with futures because I'd have to pay less in taxes. Now, once again, please speak to a professional, but I think what I'm saying you're going to find out is true. And now that you know the 3 major reasons of why trading futures is better than options, let me give you a little bit of a bonus one, if you will. I'm hesitant to consider this a real reason because some of you watching this might think it's a positive, while others of you might think this is actually more of a negative. Now, this isn't technically true for all futures contracts, but the most popular futures contracts trade on what's referred to as the Globex session. So excluding Saturday, every single day from 6 p.m. until 5 p.m. the next day, futures contracts are trading, as in they trade 23 hours out of the day, but like I said, they do take off Saturdays. So on one side of the argument, you can react to pretty much anything going on in the world at any point in time. This is great to take advantage of certain opportunities at sort of the normal trading hours, or to even hedge yourself. Or I've even heard interesting discussions of people are busy with their kids or with their jobs and they can't trade the normal 9:30 to 4 and they need other hours. So yes, I see that as a positive with most futures contracts. Obviously, we've all been in those awkward situations where something big happens overnight and you're stuck in an options position and you don't even know what's going to be going on until the market opens at 9:30 the next day. But on the flip side of the argument, you might get a little too obsessed and basically never sleep again. So to very quickly review, the 3 major reasons of why you should consider trading futures instead of options is there's no pattern day trading, there's no theta decay, and there are better tax advantages. And this might be a positive, it also might be a negative, but trading futures, at least the major contracts, has a much larger trade window. So with all of that in consideration, let me quickly address 2 major myths of trading futures. Myth number 1, you can't make that much money trading futures. I completely get it. A lot of people are attracted to the world of options because we've all seen those pictures of someone allegedly betting a little bit of money, they hit a grand slam, and it has a massive return. That highly levered aspect of it is very attractive, especially if you're a degenerate gambler. Well, I'm here to let you know that trading futures is also very levered. For example, if you look at the S&P 500 futures contract, also referred to as ES, when that goes from 6,000 to 6,001, as it would in the equity market of gaining $1, well, in the futures market, that $1 from 6,000 to 6,001 is actually worth $50. And then on top of that, if you want to lever it up even more, you don't have to just trade a contract. Of course, you could trade multiple contracts. And then if you happen to be on the flip side of that argument and you're saying,
whoa man, I actually want to cut down my leverage.
Well, instead of trading what's referred to as the mini contracts, you could actually trade a micro contract, which is going to be, in this example, 1/10 of the size. So basically, from a leverage standpoint, in the world of trading futures, you as the trader have the opportunity to lever it up a lot more, or you could even cut that leverage down. And as for the second myth I want to address, let's talk about account size. For whatever reason, in the world of retail trading, there's a lot of traders who believe you have to have a massive account to be able to trade futures, and I'm here to tell you that's simply not true. There are certain futures contracts that if you were to day trade, it only would cost you a couple $100, but what's even better than that is the new wave of sim-to-funded trading. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a lot of videos on the subject in this channel. They'll be in the description below. Feel free to check it out. But my point is that you can get going with legit futures trading for as cheap as $50, $100. My point is that really it doesn't take that much capital for you to dip your toes into this world and see if you enjoy it or don't. All in all, I'm not against options trading. I'm just saying that there's a time and place for it. Yes, if you're very studied and shrewd and know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. On top of that, there's many well-known strategies where you can make weekly and monthly income from selling premium, and I also get the fun part of it. Once in a while, you want to take a low odds gamble just for the lulls of the situation. But, and there's always a but, if you're attempting to make options trading work, but then you look at your account and it's going down and down and down, I want you to know that there are better alternatives for you. In the world of trading futures, there is no pattern day trading, there is no theta decay, and when you get to that point of profitability, you have even better tax advantages. Now, if I've successfully piqued your interest in the world of futures trading, I would love to hear from you in a comment below. Do you want follow-up videos of really diving into the nuances of what futures trading is and isn't? Do you want trading strategies for futures, or is there something else on your mind related to futures that you would like me to address in a future video? Please let me know in a comment below. Other than that, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the good vibes, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.